Okay, so great. So let's just get started here. Thanks again, everyone who's joining, both on the Zoom network here, as well as on YouTube, where we're broadcasting live. This is a webinar brought to you by Suneratech on Lift and Shift to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. My name is Fal Sarkar. I'll be your host today, and we'll be guiding the conversation and speaking to our speakers. But before we begin, let me explain a little bit about our week this week of what we've done. We've had a entire week of webinars, thought-provoking webinars on the cloud, on cloud solutions, thought leadership webinars to complete your journey to the cloud puzzle. Oftentimes people talk about moving to the cloud as a journey. We also think that, personally think of the cloud as a puzzle because there's so many options, so many vendors, so many ways of approaching it. So this week we've been sharing some of Suneratech's solutions in various areas around cloud solutions. On Monday, we talked about digital supply chain. On Tuesday, we talked about automated cloud integration with the Oracle Integration Cloud. On Wednesday, we had a great discussion around cloud application testing, which is basically testing and validation testing, release testing of HCM Cloud and ERP Cloud. On Thursday, yesterday, we had a conversation on demystifying artificial intelligence and chatbots for the enterprise. And then today, our discussion is around lift and shift workloads to Oracle Cloud Infrastructure. All of these videos will be available on replay. You could visit our YouTube channel. Just search on Suneratech. You'll be able to see them under the webinars playlist. They'll also be here on this list, which is, or this page, which is suneratech.com/events. Once they're up, we'll activate these buttons again, and you'll be able to view the replays of the webinar. So that's great that if you can do that. So a quick introduction on Suneratech. Suneratech, we pride ourselves in being a born in the cloud company, which we allow, focusing on allowing our customers to innovate and develop solutions that are built on the cloud. We're trying to help organizations accelerate their digital transformation with the help of pre-built solutions that help in their journey to the cloud and their digital transformation of both their business as well as their employees and their relationships with their customers. We do this by following a what we call a three-switch framework. First is focusing on automation of IT, automation of your business processes, automation of a lot of your applications, which brings in efficiencies and streamline functionalities and saves a lot of time and money. The second thing we do is we migrate applications and workloads onto the cloud. Along with this automation process, whether you're lifting and shifting on-premise applications traditionally in the data center, move them to a cloud environment, or if you're developing applications new applications straight on the cloud, migrating to the cloud is the second step. And then finally, once on the cloud, we help you drive digital innovation through deploying cloud solutions such as the ones that I've mentioned today, and a whole range of other solutions that are available to basically digitally transform your business. Again, all of these solutions in this webinar are born in the cloud, and we're happy to say that we feel that we're getting a lot of great traction with a lot of these solutions. So let me switch now to our presentation here, and I want to introduce our speakers. Our first speaker, I'd like to introduce is Pavan Keesera, who is from Suneratech. Pavan, are you there?
Oh, yes.
Great. Hi, Pavan. Why don't you introduce yourself, say a few words, and tell us what you do at Suneratech?
Sure. A very good morning. This is Pavan Keesera, and I'm responsible for cloud infrastructure business in Suneratech. So I come from infrastructure, cloud infrastructure, and EBS administration background. So I've been working on various migrations from upgrades to edge applications like ASCP, vMantra, setting up managed services practices, defining cloud migration paths, cloud roadmaps for various customers. We have been very successful in last 2 years in transforming 40 odd customers onto the cloud. And I'm glad that we could meet here and we would be going through this webinar.
Great, great, exciting. Thank you so much, Pavan. Branden Clemens is from Oracle. Are you there, Branden?
I am here.
Great, well, welcome. Can you introduce yourself, say a few words about what you do and what does the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure Group do at Oracle?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so we're building the best enterprise cloud on the planet. And my job as part of the Oracle Cloud Infrastructure team, or OCI team, is to support and be a designated resource for our most strategic cloud partners, Suneratech being one of those, right? So I'm here today to chat a little bit about enterprise on OCI.
Great, excellent. So I think we're going to be starting with you, Branden. So I'm going to be in control of the slides here, and let me see if I can actually make it move. There you go. You've introduced yourself. We'll be talking about cloud for the enterprise. I'll go to the first slide. Just tell me when you want to advance and just go ahead and proceed, please.
Awesome. So I see that we're live on YouTube. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening. I'm sure we've got a lot of people around the world on this. So I'll start off with this today. So our customers curate their most valuable asset with Oracle today, which is the data. We know that data is the lifeblood of your business. It ties you to your customers, your supply chain, your finances. And we've been providing you with mission critical data systems and applications for decades on-prem. And we're now doing the same in the cloud. And that's going to be the conversation that we have today. Sal, can you go to the next slide?
Certainly.
All right, so we've built our cloud to support all the functionality and performance that you've had in your own data center, but with the benefits of increased agility, elimination of tasks like managing hardware, facilities, upgrades, patches, and capacity forecasting. We have a deep expertise in cloud-specific automation to make the migration possible without risk or high cost. Everything we run in our cloud is consistent with what you run in your own data center, including things like Oracle database and the surrounding ecosystem like Rack, DataGuard, Golden Gate, and those third-party data and management tools that you're currently using. We built it so that the customers wouldn't take a step backwards in terms of performance when they move to the cloud, right? It's got to be as good or better than what you're experiencing today on-prem. A good example of this is we now offer the ability, and have for a while now, the ability to run Exadata as a cloud service offering, which is the highest level of performance and scalability for Oracle workloads. Now, this is widely used today on-premise, and it's not available in any other cloud. We also built a cloud network with massive interconnect bandwidth and no resource oversubscription to ensure that the noisy neighbor isn't an issue and the high performance we deliver isn't variable depending on external factors. We're so confident, in fact, about the capabilities of the cloud to deliver consistent performance that we have an industry-first SLA that covers not only availability, which is what you see from our competitors, but also performance and then manageability as well, right? So the comprehensive SLAs that you would need for that enterprise environment. Next slide, please. All right. And once you get to our cloud, that's when the cool stuff happens, right? That's when you get the innovation that kicks into high gear. Customers have a full range of options to deprecate or even eliminate their data center if they choose to, or you can keep some of them running, some of those workloads running on-prem as well. We allow our customers to expand their curation of data with deep analytics and integration options to get onto Oracle's new autonomous database cloud services, which I think I'm hoping everybody doesn't know on this call. They're going to be tuned into Open World to learn more, but that eliminates the management task and represents really what the future of enterprise data management is going to be. Now, customers can also expand their network of applications surrounding their data with cloud native functionality that allows them to build new innovative approaches to managing and making use of data, including our Kubernetes-based container service, as well as a broad ecosystem of third-party options that unlock new value from data. All right, Sal, next slide, please.
I had a quick question for you, Branden. Yeah. So, Oracle is, of course, known to be the database company and then the suite of applications and things. I think Oracle also says that, you have the entire stack from all the way from infrastructure all the way to applications. But what about people who are not either familiar with Oracle applications or they have other applications and third-party? Are they also welcome on the Oracle Cloud infrastructure? And then what kind of services and functionalities does OCI provide that are as good or if not better than some of the other options they may be looking at?
Yeah, definitely, right? So all third-party is open. I mean, that is one of the pieces. Now, we've designed and built this to provide the highest performance with the most competitive cost backed by SLAs, right? And obviously from that mission critical workload, those same benefits run all the way down, right? So we focus where our strength has been, and that's created an environment that really applies to anything that we move over.
Okay, great. I'll go to the next slide here.
All right, awesome. So everybody on the webinar right now who's afraid that I'm going to read through all of this, I won't. But I do want to provide a picture of all the complete services that we offer for enterprise, right? Covering their interests and their focus. Now, I'll start off by looking at high performance server storage and database support millions of IOPS and transactions to scale up and down based on your need. Now, this is the true enterprise cloud we've been talking about. We don't focus on micro instances or VMs with time sliced fractional CPU allocations. We focus on providing what businesses need to run real production workloads that can scale up, but then also scale out. Those that require the reliability of a solid traditional hardware infrastructure, in addition to the plan to fail approach of cloud, right? Requiring that low latency access to storage and network. Now, we've combined all of this with the business need of simple pricing and predictable costs instead of a system that penalizes you for running at a high performance. And really the key word here is predictable. All right. Do you want to go to the next one for me, Sal? Thank you. All right, so what did we build, right? We built an enterprise cloud capable of running the most demanding workloads, and we did it following 3 key design principles. So we knew that to be effective in supporting the systems of record that runs our customers' businesses, we needed our infrastructure to be compatible with the critical workloads that our customers care about, as well as providing the same level of performance that we've given them on-prem or even better. Now, to do this, we needed leading performance stats in terms of compute power and storage IOPS capabilities. But even more importantly, in a lot of ways, it was the consistency to that performance that we had to bring. Now, performance can't be reduced by what's happening to the customer, right? It can't vary from moment to moment, day to day, week to week, right? It has to be consistent. So to get this, we resource over subscription from compute, memory, and network resources. This makes our cloud more expensive to build, but gives our cloud the ability to run enterprise workloads more effectively than anybody else out there today. And next, right, to speak to that predictable pricing, we knew that the economics of our cloud had to be a better fit for enterprises, right, and our partners. While AWS and others, and I think you guys are familiar with this, have optimized for what I'll say is a cheap to get started approach, we focused on a longer term total cost of operation. We made the pricing of our cloud components low so that our customer could save money by moving to the cloud, but almost as important, or even if not more, we made the economics of our cloud far more predictable, right? So we've eliminated those hidden charges that lead to those major cost overruns. Our pricing uses flat storage performance and data egress, and I think a lot of people who's familiar with cloud, you know, you've heard stories of this type of heartburn that exists out there. So it's one of the things we focused on addressing. We made our discount program flexible across all categories of spend rather than tied to individual instance types, which gives our customers the flexibility to shift their usage easily as architectures or their needs change, right? It'll evolve with them. And then finally, we knew that to be successful, we needed to help move our customers to our cloud stack quickly, easily, and at all costs without compromising the uptime. Now, As Oracle transitions from being a software company to being a cloud company, we needed to use all the experience we've gained over the years in helping our customers and partners deploy and run these workloads in their own data centers and apply it towards migrating them effectively to our own platform. Now, I think a good example of this is, why my role even exists. A whole team of me's designated to our partners like Suneratech to again, drive this end. Now, by making it easier to deploy Oracle products, our existing customers can deploy faster and easier and focus on using their own products rather than managing and continuously having to upgrade their infrastructure. And a side benefit to all three of these, right, we also get access to a wider range of customers that might not have been able to afford to use some of our products in the past. And I think Exadata obviously being a great example of that. Next slide. All right, so one of the things that typically comes up is we find that we're being accused of being late to the market, right? Late to the game. Personally, I prefer to look at it more as a just-in-time. It definitely has its advantages coming into it, though, a little bit later than some of the big leaders. By us building our cloud now, it provided us with the ability to learn from the choices of the others, the best practices, and the mistakes. Right? There are technologies that didn't exist or weren't utilized that we've been able to take advantage of for our enterprise customers. And I think one example of this is a concept of our region. So all of our OCI regions have 3 ADs, or availability domains, that are independent data centers in a region that increase the resilience to adverse events and improves availability in a way similar to what enterprise might do with their own mission-critical applications. Now, another element is our flat non-blocking network that is designed to enable the workloads that run on it to use their maximum bandwidth. Properly provisioned resources mean you don't have to wonder how under-provisioned your cloud provider's network resources might be, or keep your fingers crossed that the other workloads running near yours aren't busy when your activity spikes. Now, we talked about Exadata and a couple of the engineered systems as being an offering. Now, one of the key components that we brought to the table to enable that was this off-box I/O virtualization. We were able to introduce the industry's first bare metal servers into the public cloud. We did that by designing our network to handle I/O virtualization across the network. This means there is no Oracle software running on your bare metal server, and that even your VMs won't be burdened by I/O virtualizations. Now, lastly, we've got NVMe, right, providing extreme storage performance that we understand and know that there's a lot of enterprise production workloads that would require that. Next slide, please. All right, so I'm gonna give a couple examples of, I've mentioned hidden costs a little bit, and I think a big one is connectivity, right? So obviously there's a good bold number on there that we're up to 97% lower cost. Now, what Oracle provides is dedicated connectivity through a service called Fast Connect, which starts lower than AWS and others because we don't charge for data egress, right? And that can end up costing a lot less, depending on how much you use for your bandwidth. And again, we're doing this with a focus on that enterprise space and those mission critical workloads. Connectivity obviously being a massive focus area for that and a requirement. All right, next slide. Now, from a compelling cost point, another one that comes up a lot, and I really think beyond what I'm going to show you here, if you have a chance, I think storagereview.com has some pretty good third-party case studies of this as well. But we provide storage performance at no charge. Depending on the circumstances of a particular workload, your storage costs can vary dramatically with the other cloud providers. Oracle does not charge for storage performance, but we do guarantee it, right? So you're really getting the best of both here. Next slide, please, Sal.
So one question there, Branden. So there's three aspects to OCI, right? There's storage, there's network, and then there's compute, right? Am I getting that right? Those are kind of three, right? And then all of those are all kind of on demand, whether you could spin them up as you need them, spin them down. as you don't, and therefore you'll only be charged for what you used, right? Is that how the model works?
Yeah, we definitely have. So we've got the pay-as-you-go model, and then we have a monthly option, and then we have an annual option, right? Both coming with various degrees of discounts, but it definitely is a pay-as-you-go model.
And then you could bring them up and bring them down depending on your demand. And so in peak times, you'll always have capacity, but you don't have to pay for that extra capacity during low times. Is that one of the benefits as well for this type of approach?
It absolutely is. And again, with that enterprise focus, we designed our universal credits, those 3 options, so that it can be predictable, right? So the 2 things here play hand in hand, especially if you know your business and when those peak seasons are going to be there.
Got it.
All right, so let's talk SLAs, right? So this is a big differentiator for me, and I think it's probably one of the best stories that's not often covered when we talk about having a ideal enterprise cloud, right? Because you want guarantees. Everybody wants guarantees if you're going to have anything in production or mission critical in the cloud, right? So we're offering the first end-to-end cloud infrastructure warranty. Now, while other cloud vendors offer data plane availability SLAs, these only address one aspect, the ability to reach your resources a certain percentage of the time. Okay, so let's be clear. This does not ensure that you can manage your resources or deploy new ones, nor does an SLA guarantee your resources will meet any particular level of performance, right? Now, I think myself and everybody on this call understands that enterprise production workloads require all 3 of the availability, performance, and manageability characteristics in a public cloud environment, right? It would absolutely be a necessity if you are going to run production and have mission critical workloads operating in the cloud. So I guess in plain terms, what we're guaranteeing here is we will guarantee that availability of key resources won't be affected more than 22 minutes a month. We'll guarantee that performance and manageability of key resources will not dip noticeably more than 44 minutes a month, right? Now, again, this is industry leading stuff. And I think there's a pretty good visual here just to showcase where we fit, right? And the improvements that we've built onto this. Now, for some of the questions, so each of the SLAs has a stated uptime target and enables customers to apply for service credits should we not meet these targets. But again, what we're trying to offer here absolutely is that peace of mind. Next slide, please. All right, so last but not least, I want to speak to the expansion. And Fal, you can actually go to, there you go. All right, so today we have 4 OCI regions, right, with the 3 availability domains, along with multiple classic regions. Now, one of the things I'm going to call out here is, again, we are growing and expanding aggressively. We've now announced 12 additional regions in the upcoming months, and I think you can see them spread across the screen, including China, Japan, India, and a couple of DoD locations, actually. So, but to be clear, as of today, we have 4 OCI regions up and running. We have 2 in the US, and we have 2 in Europe, right? But I have no doubts that you're going to see a couple announcements on specific data centers coming online a couple times a quarter going forward. All right, so I appreciate everybody taking the time. I hope this was informative. If there's any questions on the end of this, I'm happy to do follow-ups and work with Sunera to get in touch.
Great, and then if people have questions, they could also submit on the chat. So tell us a little bit about Open World next week. I'll just take a little moment if you want to plug some activities that are happening on the OCI front. If people are going to Open World, what will they be able to see and find out about OCI?
Well, I'll speak from an OCI perspective on how strategically important OCI is and the PaaS, right? I think we now have 22 PaaS offerings that are sitting on OCI and growing. I think it's also fair to say anything that has the word autonomous will also be in there. So as I went through all of the sessions that we had hosted or were going to be hosting at Open World, and I think there's probably close to 1,500. I'll ballpark that a quarter to at least a third of those are actually now going to be focused on this technology, right? So if anybody's going and you're going to be there listening to Larry's keynote or anyone else, this is going to be an unavoidable topic, right? So there's a lot of cool stuff that's going to be announced that I can't speak to because I'm 3 days ahead of it. But definitely watch that space, whether it's getting on YouTube or what have you. But everything we've just gone over will be expanded more in depth. There'll be new features and roadmap items that'll be launched.
Great. All right. Well, thank you very much, Branden. Really appreciate that. And if people are going to Open World, come by our booth at 3101. And then, of course, there's lots of Oracle stuff going on. So, okay, Pavan, over to you.
Thank you, Paul. So what I'll be covering in today's webinar, I'll be talking about a brief overview of Suneratech's capabilities, and then we will walk through the need for cloud migration and as well as the approaches, various approaches that would help speed up the process and give opportunities for innovation. So Suneratech had been awarded #1 Oracle Cloud Velocity Partner for FY18. And so apart from that, we are Oracle Platinum Partner and Cloud Select Partner. And we had been continuously awarded Partner of the Year for consecutive 3 years, Innovation Award. So we have around about 84 certified specialists, including 16 Cloud IaaS and security implementation specialists. And 50 plus customers currently we are serving on cloud marketplace, on the cloud infrastructure. So a few of the first time in the world, we are the first to migrate. We are the first to migrate born in business model for an auto dealership, and we are the first to migrate IBM Sterling Integrator. IBM Sterling Integrator for those who are using EBS or any PeopleSoft applications. You would see the integrator being used in various areas. So we are the first to migrate IBM Sterling Integrator onto OCI. Kronos is an application which is pretty famous in the time management area. So we are the first to migrate that in the whole Oracle fraternity and make it successfully running. And we are also the first one where we have brought live Minnesota Power on Autonomous Integration Cloud. And we had also migrated Microsoft Dynamics, which is predominantly a Microsoft application. And also always assume that Azure would be a better platform. We have proved that Oracle cloud infrastructure is much better platform than Azure when it comes to Dynamics for Adidas. Next slide, please. So let's have a quick understanding of why anyone should migrate to cloud and what is the need to migrate to cloud. So in a traditional on-premise or hosted environments, from a configuration perspective, you always run into overly complex and manually operated environments. Like if you have to create an environment, you would buy a server, then you would install operating system, then you hand it over to the application teams to migrate. So this whole process will be very time consuming, and it would not be suitable for today's world where the pace of innovation is all that matters when it comes to business. And from a software deployment perspective, given that you have to do from the scratch, it's hard to deploy, and you have various applications that might require a good amount of expertise in installing them or configuring them. And from a packaging perspective, for either creating a test environment or a non-prod environment, it's always a big process that needs to be going through. When you have too many moving parts, obviously reliability would not be at its peak. So that's what you usually see in the hosted or in-house managed or in-house maintained hardware. When it comes to cloud, it's driven by value realizations. So if you take cloud, you always have this generic COTS hardware. COTS hardware is off-the-shelf hardware. Like if you take OCI, like you get pre-built VMs which you can choose from. So you don't need to install OS. You don't need to create a VM on it. Everything is pre-built and readily available for consuming. Efficient resource utilization. When it comes to resource utilization, always we see peaks and lows in any business or any application. So a dynamic scaling up and scaling down of an environment becomes all the more important in today's world, because the application and its underlying hardware should have a capability to scale up at a very reflective phase when it comes to migration, when it comes to performance. So this it can be achieved with cloud, because you have multiple opportunities. Either you can automate the process of spinning up additional VMs with pre-built application configuration and connected to the load balancer, where it can always balance the incoming traffic and make sure that it is the performance is not degraded. So, and event-driven automated service management refers to like various tools such as OMCS that you see, Oracle Management Cloud Services, which provides you insight into application performance, infrastructure performance, and is to identify the root cause of the issue. From a revenue generation perspective, the velocity of deploying a new functionality is much higher because most of the activities what you do are already pre-built or either automated. And subscriber specific service chaining is one more thing which really makes a difference when it is pitched against an on-premise or hosted environment. From a customer experience perspective, with various platforms such as business intelligence, OMCS, big data platform, it gives the ability to have a real-time analytics, be it on the business side, be it on the number of orders that are being processed, where it is going slow. So you can have a faster decision-making power in hands. High availability and resilience is one of the biggest advantages, given that in Oracle infrastructure, you see 3 AD domains. So it provides a high-level redundancy within the infrastructure, and from the application perspective, you would have a maximum availability of the application.
So, Pavan, a question for you. Branden talked a lot about OCI moving into the enterprise space and how enterprise customers can gain a lot. Of course, there's companies of other sizes can gain as well, like medium-sized businesses and whatnot. Given these like value realizations, have you seen from your conversations with customers, mid-market customers have different kind of priorities and concerns versus enterprise customers, and do you see that difference? And then what are some of the differences you see depending on the size of the establishment?
Okay, so again, my experience suggests like it's not only the size of the customer, it is their application criticality that makes a lot of difference in selecting the suite of products that would be really ensuring that their application is up and running and making sure that it is providing the value they are looking for. So a classic example could be a small size enterprise where they are running their website and they are also looking at booking their orders online. So the expectation always would be the application is up and running and it doesn't have any performance, because most of in such a huge internet, most of the sites get only one-time chance for a customer to visit and see whether he can do what he expects value from that site. So it's always important for companies who does work in that space to make sure that their application is up and running and its performance is at its peak.
Right.
So I'll just briefly touch upon three areas on innovation: pace of innovation, insights for innovation, economics of innovation. So pace of innovation talks about how fast can you bring your innovation to the market. The innovation can be a business innovation that you want to transform and use it in your business. Technology innovation. So what cloud enables is building that innovation and bringing it to the market at the shortest possible time. This is only possible because you have platform as a service where you don't need to install or do anything. You can directly consume the services, and you have infrastructure as a service. You can spin up the instance within within fraction of a minute whenever you need it. And you also have various tools or applications that are available in marketplace, which you can leverage to build the functionality what you're looking with a very high pace and as well as ease to use. From an insights of an innovation, cloud gives you the biggest advantage of rapid insights. Then you can correlate things, and then you can also predict the outcomes, be it on the application side or be it on the infrastructure side, where the issues are, what can correlate, how this issue is correlated with the infrastructure. So OMCS is one classic example. It has, OMCS stands for Oracle Management Cloud Service. What it shows you is basically from an infrastructure perspective, where exactly the issue is, and whether it is at the application level or whether it is at the database level by analyzing the logs, and it can correlate the issue with the specific area. So resolution wise and as well as addressing the issue with the shortest possible time is enabled. When it comes to economics of innovation, most of the times if you are building something, a new application or functionality to enable your business take a leapfrog jump, so you have to make a lot of investment when it comes to infrastructure, softwares, applications to build that functionality. With cloud, where you would be doing on a subscription basis, it's pretty easy. You don't need to have you need to invest heavily ahead of time before you actually see the value of the innovation. It is possible because of you pay as you go. You don't make any capex investments. Next slide, Flan. And a slight deep dive into pace of innovation. Cloud enables you with continuous development and continuous integration. So most of you who are in EBS, who are being using Oracle EBS, they might be very well aware of EBS lifecycle automation product called Ringmaster. So Suneratech owns the Ringmaster, and it gives us the greatest advantage of automating lifecycle of custom applications as well as EBS and edge applications. So you can automate the process of deployment, custom deployment with Ringmaster, and code migrations can also be automated. From an integration perspective, when it comes to FMW integrations or fusion middleware integration with various applications, that can be completely automated, be it creating a test environment or deploying WAR files onto that. And the other interesting feature of Ringmaster Studio is testing. So you can automate the complete testing process of your application using the Cloud Tester. So the way it works is you record once what you would be doing. Whenever there are new patches or new changes that are happening, all you need to do is you run the Cloud Tester. It does all the testing. It takes the screenshots. It shows exactly where the issue had gone. And from the business analyst perspective, all he needs to do is just go through the test outcomes, identify where it had gone, and assign it back to the respective developer who would be working on that. So this cuts a huge time in development cycle and makes the application development very agile. Apart from that, you have in Oracle Cloud, we have IoT, blockchain, and autonomous database solutions, which are basically platforms which can be easily integrated. And they are enhanced with eSeal, which is Suneratech's flagship supply chain visualization application. What it does is it gives you a complete picture of end-to-end supply chain. And this is again available in marketplace and as well as on the cloud. Apart from that, you have Service Next, which is our chat platform for automations. So these all cut together will increase the pace of innovation for any organization who makes a decision to transform into cloud. Next slide, please. So from insights into innovation, like by integrating with different types of data from batch to streaming and transforming it so that others can consume it, then manage, store, and process your data into data lake from a visualization perspective. This is where OBIE, Autonomous Data Warehouse, all they come into play, which has a very rich user interface and highly flexible data insights. And access to the latest technology like AI and visualization helps getting a better insights into the overall innovation of any functionality.
So Pavan, there's a lot of additional technologies that seem to be enabled with OCI. You talk about autonomous data warehouse. There's AI, IoT, and things. So is migrating to a cloud environment like OCI as much a kind of innovation strategy as one of the things Sonera focuses on as it is a cost saving or consolidation strategy? Does it open up a whole new set of opportunities for customers?
Exactly. So the biggest advantage of migrating, what we help our customers is enabling customers to innovate at a faster pace and at a lower cost, and have a predictable outcomes of their innovation journey. So that's where we help our customers when they're migrating to or when they're transforming to cloud.
And how important is it to have a longer-term relationship with a company like Sonera, like say, like a managed services type of thing? Is that a beneficial kind of longer-term strategy for customers as well? So Suneratech basically takes care of the application management, infrastructure management, while the company can focus on their core business. Or what does Suneratech recommend in terms of a longer-term strategy?
So from a longer-term strategy, given that Suneratech's deep expertise in cloud infrastructure and as well as their vast knowledge of serving various customers in different verticals, so the long-term strategy always should be for any customer to focus on their business and and have their infrastructure and applications managed by a well-qualified organizations like Suneratech. So that gives customers to focus on their business rather than trying to build expertise in areas which is not their core strength or core focus areas. So I just put up a few numbers from a cost perspective. So we have done various migrations from on-premise, from AWS, Azure to Oracle Cloud. So most of the cases, what we see with a better infrastructure and with a optimized sizing, we could gain almost 30% cost reduction in the infrastructure, and with automation, we could come up with a 26% operational effort savings. From a license cost perspective, this is very interesting. Like most of these times, like when it is on virtualization or in clouds like AWS, Oracle's license policy is a bit tricky. So if a classic example is like if an application is multi-threaded, or if at the OS level, if you're multi-threading. Oracle considers their licenses per course as 2 cores. Let's assume you have multi-threaded it and you have 1 core. It will be shown as 2 cores. Oracle license application would be like you are consuming 2 cores. Whereas in Oracle cloud infrastructure, when it comes to Oracle cloud infrastructure, though you have multi-threaded it, it is still considered as only 1 core. This gives a huge saving potential when compared to on-site, on-prem, or other clouds. When you are having database or application like WLS and others, where you have processor-based licensing that you have bought before. Apart from that, what Suneratech offers is if you are already working with any service vendor or if you're hosted, Suneratech offers in collaboration with Oracle to buy the tail and speed up the process of transforming to cloud. So this is the biggest advantage what most of the customers have leveraged in speeding up their transformation process.
And just to give you a time check here, Pavan, it's 10 minutes to the hour. We still have a 5-minute video that we want to show.
Sure. Okay. I'll just touch base on this. So these are few service offerings what we have. It basically talks about various applications what we have migrated or what our capabilities are. EBS, PAC, PeopleSoft. When it comes to retail, it is Oracle Retail, CRM, Siebel CRM. Then when it comes to non-Oracle applications like IBM Sterling, Kronos, Microsoft Dynamics, and from a custom applications perspective like Tomcat, LAMP technologies. So these are various applications what we have migrated from either on-premise or AWS or Azure to cloud. Next slide, please.
And referrals and case studies are also available for people interested, right?
So our assessment to migration, what we have a plethora of tools that we use in helping and guiding the customers in transforming to cloud, right from my assessment to all the way migration. So we start off with discover and assess, where we walk through customer through return on investment and how cloud cost comparisons. Then we do an infra mapping with cloud migration paths. So when all applications would not be same, so we need to plan out in such a way that you are grouping the applications and you are moving them, analyzing the dependencies and all of this stuff. So we do that, then we define, we do the solution modeling, basically whether it should be a lift and shift or a rehosting, and if it is rehosting, or it should be a combination of lift and shift plus rehosting. We define a migration path for each application. And after that, we automate the migration process. We automate the migration process, and then we also automate majority of the cloud management, like be it spinning of instances or auto-correcting, self-healing capabilities for the applications. So this is at a high level. Next slide, please. So our cloud migration approach is zero risk and zero disruption. So our cloud migration approach constitutes of a non-intrusive cloud migration. What it means is basically we don't change any code, we don't change any configuration. You would see the same application functionality undisturbed, uncorrected on the cloud itself, and we achieve that one by following the process of lift and shift and rehosting. And the way we do is basically we first start off with the dev environment, then we finalize the process, then we do one trial run with test, and then when it comes to prod, we build a DR, and then we switch from DR to the production, and from there it goes to the cloud managed services, which most of the customers leverage our expertise in that area. Next slide, please. So our cloud migration comprises of 4 steps. One is discover and assess. Then goes, once it is completed, you do the planning, how you would be done from migration, whether it should be P2V, V2V, that is physical to virtual or virtual to virtual, whether we should go with IaaS or PaaS. PaaS stands for platform as a service, like DBCS and others. Then we design the architecture, And we also look at modernizing the application opportunities there. And once that is done, then we do the dev and test trial runs. Then we do the data refresh. We link it as a pre-prod environment. And when it is cut over, from a customer perspective, they will not see any difference what they are using before, because it would be a seamless switchover from on-prem or cloud to Oracle Cloud. Next slide, please. So, so far we have seen different kinds of migration. What if we have 100+ applications that are to be run? That's where our expertise come into picture. We have multiple tools which we work with, where the automation of migration is done by installing agents on the source and target, where the incremental changes are also captured. And so the way it works is like it acts as a DR. And once you identify a time when you want to cut over, if you break that cutover, you would have all the application along with the data available on the target, which is OCI. The next steps would be to reconfigure the application to the database, which is pretty easy. Like that's where the customer expertise would also be taken into consideration. Use that and configure them and that. So recently we have put up a solution and we are working with them. So the overall number of applications they have is 600. They have 600+ servers, on which most of them are custom applications built over a period of time on various versions of Oracle, SQL Server. So we are currently in the process of finalizing the migration approach, and we'll be starting the project anytime. Next slide, please. So, yeah. So I would like to do a brief walkthrough. This is a very interesting use case. So WCA's business area is commodity trading and advisory services for commodity traders, large houses. So they had an interesting problem. Like, so they were running Oracle Discoverer. They were using Oracle Discoverer as their primary tool for analysis of data export of commodity export-import data, tracking the demand and supply. So they were pretty happy with Oracle Discoverer, and they were all good with it. But Oracle had de-supported Discoverer, and to add to that, they were running on Windows XP, which has been de-supported by Microsoft. So WCA approached Suneratech through Oracle, looking for advice. What should be the next steps? How they would be migrating their primary application. So we had presented the multiple options, from whether it makes sense to go into abandon the Discoverer and move into this one. If yes, how will we move this data out? We have built different reports at various times. We want to see those reports, the data. So what we did is we worked with customer and we narrowed down on the migration approach for Discoverer. So what we have recommended them is OBIE, that is Oracle Business Intelligence and Enterprise Edition. And the benefits, the summary of modernization, it's not only about migration, it's about modernization of their application and leveraging it. So now business users can access OBIE over internet. Then Windows XP is replaced with Enterprise Linux. Discoverer is replaced with OBI 12c. When I say replaced, like we have migrated their Discoverer reports into OBI repository. Custom data loader, which they use for loading the data into database from various sources, that is replaced with the ODA, Oracle ODA. And Discoverer reports are replaced with interactive dashboards and with rich variety of visualization. Now, business users doesn't need to depend on building a report. They can pretty much on the fly modify the existing analysis or create a new one from the scratch based on their need. So over to you, Falik.
All right. Great. So what we'll do is we're at almost at the top of the hour. This video is about 4 or 5 minutes long. So what I'm going to do is, in case people need to leave, I'm going to advance here to the contact us page. Please take a screenshot of this. These are the folks you want to reach out directly to Pavan, talking specifically around cloud infrastructure. Srini Sethi also is head of our cloud solutions in North America, and he'll be a great person to contact with. So take a quick screenshot of these. Again, we'll be sending out a replay of this as well, and you'll be able to see that. And so let me kind of go over here and play the video. It's a bit of a kludge here that I won't bother you people with, but let me kind of bring up the web thing here. Nope, that's not it. 1 second. There. Okay. And ready and play.
Let me just tell you my background. I've been a small consulting company for many years. I used to work for one of the larger grain companies in the 1980s and 1990s. And in 1999, I went out on my own as a consultant. And what we do in the business is we're in the grain business, wheat, corn, and soybeans. And we follow demand numbers and supply numbers. The Oracle data we use is mostly for demand numbers, showing exports and imports from any country in the world to any country in the world, what they're importing or what they're exporting. What we look at is the exports of grain from any of the major producing countries: Brazil, Argentina, United States, Russia, Europe, Australia, Canada, or China, India. We look at all those countries to see how the world trade is going every month and trying to aggregate that data. And with data visualization, we're going to try to show people quickly with graphics something that would take a lot longer to do with just the tables of numbers. And we started with Oracle Discoverer. And that's what brought me to use Oracle Visual Basic. And we never had any problems with Oracle Discover. It was easy to use, it was straightforward. And over the years, probably the last 7 or 8 years, maybe even longer, it's come to our attention that using Microsoft XP hardware is dangerous with the risk to it on the internet. But what we're trying to do is migrate our database onto Oracle Cloud so that any of us in Ukraine or in Chicago can reach this, share the results of our intelligence and our reports with our clients. Go ahead.
Okay. One application that was brought up in discussion was OBIEE, and how that relates to the Discover data set, and using some of the tools there in a kind of application mode. Is this what you're talking about broadly in terms of some of the functionality that you're seeing on data visualization and stuff?
I think so. I'm not exactly sure what your acronyms mean to us. But there's what was showed to us is a huge amount of graphics potential once we have the databases in place, that we'll be able to create just about any graphic that one can imagine. And it'll be easy to do, grab it from multiple databases with different places in the world and all. It's all going to be in Oracle, but that is what our goal is. The end of now.
So we have Pavan on the line. Pavan, you're familiar with this project. Do you have some background that you want to share in terms of some of the layers of technology and functionality?
Yeah, sure. So when WCA approached us, they were looking, they come to an understand, they got an understanding from Oracle that Oracle has de-supported Discoverer, which they were primarily based on the reporting and other structure. So they reached us for our advice on what would be the next step and what should the Discoverer customers do. So that's where we swung into action and we advised WCA about possible migration options to a better reporting solution. So one of the options Oracle suggested and recommended parties for Discoverer customers to migrate to Oracle OBIE, which is Oracle Business Intelligence Enterprise Edition. So we had shown the capabilities of OBIE and how the data, their current data and future data can be presented in a much better way through graphics and others using OBIE. So it's way more superior product than what Oracle had designed and come up with 20 years back, that is Discoverer. So from there, our journey started of migrating WCA from Discoverer to the OBIE.
So we're very hopeful, very bright outlook for this data visualization. We should be completing most of it's completed now, but we're probably have it all done by the end of this week. And the people there at Suneratech have been very helpful in putting all of this together, more or less on time, which is rare, as you all know, in software development. But it's on time, more or less the price we agreed to, so that's all good. And we look to develop this supply-demand outlook, trade outlook for this and other projects we have in mind as we go forward over the next year. So that in a nutshell is what I do. I've been doing it for 20 years, and it works great, way beyond what spreadsheets can do. And I can't thank Oracle enough for giving us Discoverer 20 years ago. So here we are today to see what Oracle visualization can do for us.
All right, so there you have it. That's it. Thanks everyone for joining us. We're a little bit over the hour, and I appreciate those of you who stuck around. As I said, the contact information is on the screen of whoever you want to kind of connect with. We'll be sending out the video sometime next week. If you are at Oracle Open World, come visit us at booth 3101. That's 3101. We'll be doing a lot of these presentations at the booth. All of our experts will be on hand and would love to talk to you. So just come on by. Thanks again, everyone. That concludes our week of thought leadership webinars. I personally think it went well. I survived, so I'm very happy with that. I appreciate everyone who did join us. I hope it was useful for you, and thank you, and have a good day. Bye-bye.
Thank you.